Hi, everyone. Happy May. Welcome to our May 1st meeting of Easton Affordable Housing Trust. 6:32 p.m. Okay. First order is to review and, oh, actually, do we have to read the
We
minutes?
do. We've got to do the remote meeting
Yep.
instructions, and then we have to do a roll call vote for attendance.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. So the instructions here are: this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count toward quorum. The meeting may be broadcast live and will be recorded on ECAT. The public can participate in the meeting by using the Zoom application. The Zoom link is in the posted agenda. We try to keep meetings as close to in-person meetings as possible. Members of the public are encouraged to use the raise hand function if they wish to be recognized, and then they can be given access to speak and participate at the chair's discretion. Also, an important item for remote meetings is that all votes need to be taken by roll call. So members should state their last name and their vote, yes or no, for example. And Nikki, if it's more comfortable or convenient, I can just call on people on the screen or something to sort of cue them, or you could do that,
Okay.
to keep people from talking over each other, whichever works for you.
Sure.
Okay.
For a roll call?
Yes, roll call attendance.
Okay. Dostumian, yes. Sheedy?
Sheedy, yes.
Stephen? You're on mute. I can see that you're here and
Stephen, yes.
responding in the affirmative.
Yes.
Stacy?
Stacy, yes.
Miller?
Miller, yes.
Hill?
Hill, yes.
Okay, and do we go through the Rodriguez no or anything like that?
No, she's just not here,
Okay,
and I can note that.
okay. So now we can move on
Correct.
to the meeting minutes of our, that can't be right, January 17th?
March 6th.
March, where is it? Am I looking at the wrong meeting minutes?
Did I send the wrong thing? Entirely possible.
I think we're looking at January 17th meeting minutes, but we're looking, we are reviewing the March 6th meeting
March
minutes.
6th, yeah.
Yeah. I did not change the that's
You
what
didn't change
happened
it, yes.
at
Yes.
top.
Title.
Yeah, I changed
Just the
everything
title.
else except that.
Got it. Okay,
Jiminy. I've
So-
not done that.
notwithstanding the date, has everyone had a chance to review, and would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Yes,
Okay, Sheedy makes
I sec-
motion. Steven
I second it. Second.
All right, Dostumian, yes. Sheedy,
Sheedy, yes.
Stephen,
Stephen, yes.
Stacy,
Stacy, yes.
Miller,
Miller, yes.
Hill.
Hill, yes.
Awesome. Okay. Next up, AHT updates to CPC and select board discussion. Okay. This, I have started my PowerPoint. I still need to reach out to select board and see, and I was supposed to reach out to planning board and I have not done that yet. So that is on my list of things to do this week. Sorry, I'm just going through this right now. And I have not in a form that is really ready to share yet, but I'm working on my PowerPoint draft to that hopefully is gonna go over selected AHT mission, current projects, recent achievements, challenges and goals, and mission going forward. And that I was discussing with Wayne that we would hopefully use to have collaborative discussions with the planning board, select board, other boards and commissions throughout the town in the near future. So hopefully I'll have that I'll have a good first draft of that done.
Mhm.
I'm hoping this week. I've got the content, it's just in the organization and formatting right now, so. That's my update on that. Wayne, do you have any additions on that topic?
No, happy to work with you on fleshing it out and finalizing it, and then we could, of course, circulate it to the group for comment and input.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I imagine any presentation to any of the other boards and commissions is certainly going to be after town meeting, so I would imagine that would be more of a midsummer sort of situation.
Anyone know the date of the town meeting off the top of their head?
Monday, the 20th.
May 20th. Okay, just good to say that again, because encouraging all of us to go and vote.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, next up. Affordable Housing Trust 2024 Work Plan Finances Municipal Surplus Properties Discussion. Okay. So Wayne, thank you. You resent out the financial docs in your recent email this evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those were the same ones that the group discussed at the March, not January 17th, the March 6th meeting. And as I think I mentioned in the email, we're having our regular municipal audit, and of course with the town meeting coming up. So on the March 6th meeting, the group had, I believe, made some votes about what to do with some of the funds, and the town accountant has not had a chance to update the trust accounts accordingly. Or if she has, I haven't had a chance to ask her to give me a report. She's so very busy, I'm not going to ask her right this minute for that. So the baseline is actually different from what we're looking at, but that just is a snapshot to remind folks. It's the same thing we looked at last time.
Mhm.
But it gives us a sense of we've got the 976,000 total, and it's in different pots, and it's contemplating what we would like to do with those funds, and creating new sub accounts, and cleaning up and closing out the old ones, as we contemplate new projects or new priorities in the next few years.
Okay, my understanding is we did clean up some of those accounts, and we're just so that's in good shape for now.
Yeah,
Waiting to hear back.
yeah, there's some more work to do, I think, but for now, since what I wanted to do is have the votes on the allocations. We transferred some of the small accounts out and closed those down, and transferred money into the admin account. And so I'd like to have that reflected in the next iteration of the finances, so we have a sort of clean, updated baseline, and then use that to discuss, do we want to have different sub accounts for it, or as sort of like a way to help shape a discussion about priorities for the next couple of years.
Yeah, Wayne, so we might have to discuss this, and I'm looking back in the notes, but I don't know, do we know of any projects coming down the pipeline, or are there any sort of opportunities that you foresee, projects that would make more sense and we should prioritize and start thinking about what type of resources we would need to be able to address future potential projects? And that might be a loaded question, but
yeah, and it sort of segues into other parts of tonight's conversation. Looking at the Affordable Housing Trust work plan, one of the things that's been of interest is, should the vote go positive, and it did, is the surplus municipal properties. Some may or may not be suitable for housing, some may have other constraints, the town may have other priorities for some of the sites. We are applying for a planning grant that's due June 5th. And, you know, hopefully we would get it and we could hire a consultant to help us with that planning process, you know, get public input, do some feasibility studies to help inform the public discussion of, you know, what the town might like to see happen with some of these properties and what might be possible at some of these properties. So should there be a interest and an opportunity in some creative housing projects on some of these surplus properties, I think that would be a significant trust financial commitment. You know, I could see the trust subsidizing a nonprofit building, you know, affordable elderly housing or family housing or group housing or something like that. So I could certainly see that as being part of it. And certainly, you know, even if we don't get a grant for the planning, the trust may want to consider, do we want to just take our own money and hire a consultant to, you know, lead off on this? You know, we'd of course have to work with town administration and so forth to, you know, see if that was amenable. Because of course there's other interests in town that may have other priorities for some of the properties. And there may be, you know, feasibility studies, you know, 21E environmental site assessments or something, you know, to quantify what's actually on these properties. So, you know, I could see being engaged with the surplus municipal properties in some capacity will be a financial commitment from the trust in a smaller or a larger way, depending on how things shake out. So I could see that as one of them. And then this is for the other items not anticipated. We just today got a phone call, and I chatted with Nikki about it briefly this morning. There is a partly demolished early 1800s two-family at 3537 Pequannock Ave. It's just down and across the street from the 26 Pequannock Avenue Habitat Project. And the developer has stalled out on redeveloping that and has reached out and asked, you know, would the town be interested in buying it? And you know, so provisionally, maybe, you know, Nikki said this could be of interest, but of course would depend on, you know, well, what is the price? What are the other issues? You know, are there environmental problems with the site? You know, we'd want to check that out. And then, you know, after talking with Nikki, I reached out to Habitat to see if they would be interested, because they would be the most likely nonprofit to partner with. You know, if we do this, we'd of course have to put out an RFP and so forth and see how that all goes. But, you know, is this something that a nonprofit might be interested in? Habitat said, well, you know, provisionally they could be. So they're going to take a look at the property later on this week. There were plans approved by the planning board that largely replicate the historic house, certainly as seen from the street, and that would be something that would be important to the historical commission, because it would be considered a historically significant structure. So, you know, they want to see that as the replacement. But, you know, should it be at a reasonable price, and should the trust want to go forward, you know, that could be another financial commitment. You know, like I said, that's something that just showed up literally this morning in a phone call. So that's sort of jumping ahead a little bit, I think, to the other items. But, you know, I think we could have a conversation tonight is, you know, would the trust be interested? Do they have a sense of, you know, what a reasonable purchase price might be, or just, you know, see what is offered. As a piece of information, the trust bought 26 Pequannock for $235,100. And the trust bought 10 Morse Road for $220,000. So the low 200s in recent years has been what the trust has considered a reasonable price to buy a site for a nonprofit to build family housing on. And the trust usually gets from CPA, you know, about $250,000 a year or so. So, the low to mid 200s is about the annual, income to the trust from CPA.
Just looking back, I was wondering what we invested for Eisenhower. I think that was 235 net investment.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was about that. Yeah, by the time we actually resold it again. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Wayne, when, do you have I should know this, timeline for, when we should be getting, more information on what's gonna be happening with the municipal properties? Is there-
That is, I think there's an opportunity for the trust to have a bit more of a, sort of role in moving that planning process along.
Okay,
The, designs are nearing, final, they'll be moving to I think they're putting them out to, for cost estimates. They're planning, I believe, putting them out to bid over the winter. For construction, I believe next summer.
okay.
I can't remember. I actually attended a whole presentation on it recently, and it's just sort of vanished from my mind. So there will
Might
be
not an easy answer that I was forgetting.
there will be a couple year window during which the construction is happening that the properties are remain to be occupied, but that of course is also the window where one could productively plan, well, what do we want to see happen? So I think by applying for this planning grant, like I said, those are due in early June, so we should know more by midsummer for that. I think the trust may want to formally let the town administration know that we are very interested in this grant, or possibly providing funds and helping lead some sort of a planning process on what do we intend to do and what are the possibilities for these properties, so that the town has sort of an affirmative vision or a consensus vision of what they could be used for, whether it be just selling them for money, using them for recreation facilities, using them for business development, using them for affordable housing. But I think it would behoove the trust to be affirmative in trying to start the planning process, so that the town is not reactive and has actually thought about it. So we don't find ourselves in 2 years going, oh yeah, I don't know, I guess we'll just sell them to somebody.
Okay, that's great. I was just thinking of it in terms of, if the Pequonnet were to, become a viable option, and would like timing overlapping with municipal properties, but it sounds like we would have time.
I would think so,
Sure.
and we could do more than one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And so many things are just luck of the draw. Random things happen. Timing is odd. So you plan the best you can, and then just deal with it as it shows up. And then
So,
there's also, if there's larger affordable housing projects, it's not all entirely reliant on just the Affordable Housing Trust budget.
Right.
One could ask for additional affordable housing funds from CPA. It could be a standalone CPA application in addition to just Affordable Housing Trust funding.
as far as the planning grant application goes, what are some action items that we can take now? I can put on my agenda. Should we be reaching out to town administrator to state interest in applying, or do we just-
We are applying, and the town administrator knows that.
Okay.
We are applying for 5 grants. The state, this is a little more in the weeds, but the state has something called the One Stop for Growth grant application portal. We have submitted 5 letters of interest. and gotten feedback from the state about the appropriate grant program and the timing and so forth. So there, is a grant that we would be applying for this. And actually, if you bear with me, I'll give you a little more information. Grants. Yeah, so this would be the municipal surplus properties plan. It would be a site preparation category. This would be a real estate services technical assistance grant. So real estate services technical assistance grant. They only make them to a municipality or a municipal agency. So, that would be us. The general maximum value is 50,000. That may not be enough to do everything we would want to do. The trust may, need other funds. They'd want to have everything completed by June of 2025. So we should probably break the proposed project into 2 phases to fit the timeline. So anyway, we'll be applying for that one, but it may not be enough. What we're looking for would be, let me open another document. So, what I put in the expression of interest was the project will fund community planning, potential reuse scenarios, for example, affordable elderly family housing, recreation, community use, private redevelopment, site redevelopment feasibility analysis, and drafting RFPs for 3 to 5 municipal properties. And the budget estimate I have for that would be like 150,000. If we really want to do, redevelopment feasibility scenarios and help in drafting an effective RFP package for all these different properties. So
if you submitted 5 LOIs, could you potentially get 5 $50,000 grants back?
we could not all for this.
Not all from one thing though, for all.
No,
maybe
yeah.
50 for each.
We're
individual.
looking for Lincoln Street sidewalk construction, 5 Corner secondary pump station for wastewater construction, demo of the center school, this municipal surplus property plan, and design work for Foundry Street improvements. So those are the 5, things we're applying for. So this one grant is like 50 grand, and maybe we could apply for it twice and get 250 or something, but we may want to have a bigger vision of what we would get from it. I think we need more a public engagement component, of course, but also actual site investigation and feasibility analysis. We'd all like certain things, but is it actually feasible to build there? Is there significant environmental contamination or difficulties in demolishing the current buildings? And then, of course, drafting an RFP that is actually effective, that can get you the response you'd be looking for.
Okay. So action items for that. Are we kind of in a holding pattern there? Just
It seems
waiting?
it. It seems it. I'm trying to think. There's sort of like a chicken and egg, cart and horse kind of situation. Obviously we want to find out will we get 50 grand, but any vision we would have would be more than 50 grand, I believe, and getting a consultant to actually help with all this and do this work. And then we'd want support and backing from town administration, before the trust would, allocate any actual trust monies for this. So, would that be, and this might be a Jennifer question, I don't know, how, obviously nothing's happening until well after town meeting, so this is sort of like a June or July question. But, what's an effective way to, put together sort of a timeline for, getting this plan together, and on one hand, we've got plenty of time, we've got a couple of years, but also we don't want to be reactive, and it will take a while to get funding in place and, get the planning process started.
I'm wondering if we should plug in with the municipal buildings subcommittee, because they'd have the best sense of specifics around this piece.
Mhm.
So maybe we could plug in with the chair, or I could connect with Jamie Stebbins, who's the select board representative for that. And that, I think that would be probably a good starting point.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would you be in touch with Jamie and ask?
Yeah, absolutely.
We had reached out like a year or two ago, and the response was, that's a problem for much later.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
And now we're getting a lot closer to much later, so.
Adding to my list of to-dos.
Thank you, Jen.
No problem.
Okay, so we can move on. The CPA 5-year plan update and the housing component. And Chris Ann, do you have a guest with you? You guys are muted. Oh, not anymore. Nope, you are again now. Sorry, that was my fault.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dennis. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. For those that don't know me, I'm Dennis Sheedy. I'm Chris Ann's husband, obviously. I'm the chairman of the Housing Authority Board, and as part of that board, I'm assigned to the CPC. And the CPC currently we're updating our community preservation plan. It was adopted in October of 2020, so it's not that old. A lot of the stuff in there for affordable housing and housing authority interest it's pretty solid when I look through it, Wayne. The plan itself, there's a lot of numbers and update projects and that type of stuff that needs to be updated. But if you don't mind, I'd like to just touch on some of the points and for your consideration, if there's anything you think that needs to, as this gets updated, to be added to the plan. But like I said, a lot of it seems very, very solid. It starts out with the community housing, is that the CPA requires that whenever possible, preference be given to the adaptive reuse of existing buildings or construction of new buildings on previously developed sites. So Wayne has touched on that quite a bit already tonight with the municipal buildings and stuff. So who knows what we can do there, what potential lies in those properties, maybe something, several units to build on a 10% affordable goals. Other parts in there is priorities. The priorities for the Community Preservation Committee is that we always like to see matching funds. Some of the members bring that up time and time again. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And that it conforms to the recommendation of Envision Easton, which is a plan that goes back to 2014. And the basis of that is that we involve tenant, I'm putting myself at work now, sorry. That we involve residents and committees and boards and volunteers and get input from them so that it's accepted and transparent to the public. It has significant community support, and another priority we would like to see is that it's outside of the Northeastern Village, and that's only because a great deal of our funds over the years have been, the Queesick Gardens, the Oaks Ames Hall, the library, the Unity Church. It's all been in this general area that would like to see that expand out, if possible, to other areas in town. The final part of it, and I don't know what I did with it now, but we did talk about adaptive reuse. It's to diversify the current housing stock, and I know your board has gone above and beyond that, the development of the BMZ house down, those 8 units, that's going way outside the box. That is very, very impressive. So you are diversifying and giving other
Population.
populations an opportunity for affordable housing in the town, that it's, it's unit by unit. You're not gonna get 300 of them. So, it's one by one. It's the Conequid Ave one that you were talking about earlier it's right where you want to be, I guess, because you're incentivizing another part of small mixed income projects. So, and the other one is include partnerships with Easton Housing Authority or other nonprofit entities. Again, we've worked together on 26 Pequonnequit, Eisenhower Drive. You've worked with Habitat for Humanity. I don't see a lot that needs to change there. I was on the CPC when the Affordable Housing Trust was developed. I voted in favor of that. And for it to start out with, the board you didn't have any money. And then they got bogged down in red tape. But now under Nikki, your guidance and leadership and the board's creative way of doing things and Wayne's guidance, you've done so many things that he's saying $250,000 a year. It's not enough money. You don't have enough to do what you need to do anymore. And that's kudos to you, and a pat in the back that, it's a job well done that I don't know if everybody recognizes that. So that's where I stand on the community preservation plan and updates and stuff. I don't know if there's a lot we can add to that, but if there's anything, I do plan on bringing it to the Easton Housing Authority. We have a meeting in 2 weeks. And then I'll bring it back to the CPC. So if there's anything you'd like to add, anything, it is on Wayne. I believe it's on the website.
Yeah, the both the CPA plan and the Affordable Housing Trust's 5-year action plan.
Yep. So they are there if you want to take a look at them, and anything you'd like to see added or expanded on, it's always welcome. Input is what it's all about.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think, Wayne, we were talking earlier about in like collaboration with the CPC and other boards and in the town. Hopefully not as a result of the PowerPoint I'm working on, but once this is done, just with the increased challenges of getting anything done in this climate right now. Wayne was saying that collaboration is going to be increasingly important. So once this gets done, maybe we can meet up with you guys again on I mean, like you said, I'm not sure how much new we would be able to provide, but at least just have some conversations, maybe something comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another thing that the trust had talked about, in addition to collaboration, and Nikki and I have talked about, and the trust has talked about, the advocacy role, working with the planning board on zoning, and can we have some zoning initiatives that encourage, say, inclusionary housing, more diverse housing types, smaller units, multifamily housing, accessory dwelling units as of right. So there, I think, are a lot of opportunities on the planning and zoning level to advance the trust goals, which is not necessarily a CPC goal, for the CPA plan, but I think is definitely a work plan for the trust. But relevant to CPA, the Affordable Housing Trust has been discussing as part of this cooperative concept, with some open space protection priorities, using a portion as appropriate for housing development. And that would be obviously a suitable and small part, because the open space priorities are the open space priorities, but there could be the potential to develop a few affordable units as one contemplates open space projects. So to have the affordable housing considered as a possibility as one analysis, as the CPA analyzes open space, potential open space projects. And then Andrew, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, just a quick question, and just and I haven't familiarized myself with the CPC's plan, so this is more of a general question. So sorry about not knowing the answer to this, but as far as some of the municipal buildings that are being repurposed, I think that's great. I think it was discussed at length when it came to the proposal for the new DPW and fire and police station. But some of the private properties around town, how does the CPC and how do we factor into some of these properties that are dilapidated? I run by 364, I think I just looked it up. I think it's 364 Depot Street every day. There's these sort of private dwellings that are, really in rough shape. And I don't know how does that factor in working with those private landowners to figure out how we could utilize what is great space to potentially either repurpose, rezone, or is that something that we are involved in, or is that separate? Does that question make sense?
Yes, the short answer is no, we don't.
Mhm.
That's what I figured.
And I think a more elaborate answer, or more complete and responsive answer, is it really does depend on the property. Often properties have challenges, and if in a hot real estate market, where everything is very expensive, if a property is not being redeveloped, there's usually a reason. And it is almost always going to be a reason that the trust may not really want to have a part with.
Right, makes sense.
That said, there might be some parcels that maybe this would be of interest, and we could do a little bit of footwork, legwork. Who owns it? Weird mortgages on it? Does anybody know the owner? What's going on? Would they be open to the trust saying, hi there, can we buy this for 200 and turn it into affordable housing? You never know.
Right.
But I would expect that to not yield very much, because like I said, there's usually a reason that properties are in the condition they're in.
Makes sense. Yeah, that property that I mentioned on Depot Street was sold a year and a half ago for 185, and so I just looked that up and I go, oh, that. But I wonder what the reason is. And again, it's in rough shape, but it's such a prime location. I know that they were looking to redevelop and rezone that particular parcel because of what they're doing. It's right next to Center Street Middle School, so it's really it's like on that. So I again, that just made me think of it. So that's a great. Thanks, Wayne, for providing context. That makes sense.
By 364 Depot, is that the old historic house?
Yes.
Right,
yes.
Yes. That has been of great interest to the Historical Commission for decades. It is in incredibly poor condition. It has been bought. The earlier owner had very unrealistic expectations for the value. The Historical Commission members had approached them several times. Finally, it became so incredibly deteriorated that a real estate investment company, an LLC, bought it for that amount of money. And from what I've heard is they are contemplating demolishing it and building something similar in style and design, possibly as 2 units, or possibly more, but sort of like a 2-family on roughly that footprint, is, I believe, the current state of play down there. But yeah, but that is an example of there's a reason it sat there for a very long time, and you just could not make it move. Yeah. But sort of riffing on this, and I'm talking totally at random here. Would the trust like, okay, so we have a need for affordable elderly housing, and there are nonprofits that build affordable elderly housing. And might there be, even aside from the municipal surplus properties, could there be, commercial properties or other properties that, the trust might, in partnership with a nonprofit, approach a receptive owner for a purchase and redevelopment. That I think could be interesting. A side effect I would hope would arise out of a planning process around the municipal properties would involve, who are the reasonable player partners. As we're contemplating what might one do with this suite of properties as possible, redevelopments. It's, could this be supportive veterans housing? Who does that? Could this be elderly housing? What unit count do they need for that to work? Would it be suitable? Could this be all affordable family housing townhouses? So there are like different scenarios and different nonprofit actors. And it would be interesting if the planning process could surface some of those and we could have then conversations. Are there other ways we could partner? And, outside of that process, are there other properties that we could look to acquire?
Thank you, guys. Okay, do we have any more questions on that or comments? Okay. All right, so with that, thank you, Dennis. Okay. Let's move on. AHT board member expiring terms. That's myself and Amy. And I know that you wrote Amy was happy to serve again.
And I think also Andrew and one more, I think Jen as the select board appointee. I think there were 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where is it? I just had it up.
Yeah, Rodriguez, Stacy, Hill, Miller. Yeah. To re-up.
Do you need us to confirm that or?
Yeah.
If you're interested, so the those terms are expiring at the end of June.
Yep.
And if you all would be ready and willing to reapply, that would be awesome.
Yeah, as soon as you put it in that email, I put it in my phone to remind myself to reapply. So
Yep.
Awesome.
it will be taken care of.
Thank you.
And the select board will do their process of reappointments among each other for the boards we've served, so I probably will be back.
We hope to see you.
That's
That's
so
my
Jen.
plan, unless
Yeah,
someone tries to steal it from me.
Definitely, yes.
And Andrew, if you're interested in rejoining.
Yeah,
that'd
no,
be
I,
awesome.
I will, and because I'm one of those, I use my work laptop for everything, and it's a very difficult process to get things unblocked. So every time I go to do it, it blocks my access to fill out the form. I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. So I will do it on my phone at some point soon.
Thank you.
Yep.
And understood. Happens to me too. Okay, awesome. Board reorg vote. Yeah, we don't need a vote for any of the expiring terms, it's just a discussion, right?
Right, it's just a
Um,
reminder to folks and, and the subtext there is like, if you're not planning to re-up, then like, can we help recruit a good new member? But since everyone's planning on rejoining, that's, something we don't have to try to do
Thank
right
you.
now.
Right.
Yep. Okay, board reorg vote, that me and Amy, and is it anyone else? Or is it
The
just
only,
two?
by this is not the right word, the, articles of incorporation, the town bylaw that
Yeah.
created the trust. The board officers are chair and clerk.
Okay.
So that's all the trust has.
Okay. I'm happy to continue on. Does anybody?
I nominate Nikki
Yeah.
to continue on as chair.
Miller
Second.
second.
Thanks, guys. Do we have to
You're
vote?
welcome.
Yeah, and roll call vote, Amy said that she'd be happy to do clerk.
So can we do it together?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, so a nominate to, a motion to. What do we say, recommission?
Chris Ann, may I suggest a friendly amendment,
Absolutely.
that you have nominated, Nikki and,
And
Amy as chair and
Chair
clerk,
and clerk,
and
yes.
Andrew has seconded that motion.
Okay, Dastumian, yes, Sheedy,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Miller,
Miller, yes.
Stacy,
Stacy, yes.
Hill.
Hell, yes.
Okay, I live to see another day. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no
You're
one's
so
gonna
welcome.
take, no one's gonna
Thank
take it from
you.
you, yeah,
No
Thank you,
one, no
Nikki.
one.
you're safe.
Oh, Wayne, right here on the agenda is the reminder of the town meeting. Right in front of my eyes, next one. So we've already gone
Yeah.
over that, but May 20th, 7 o'clock. Reminder, for the annual town meeting, and I don't know
And-
what the ethics of, yeah, I think I'll just stop there, because I can't really advocate for
Yeah.
votes or anything, right? So I'll just say.
I will,
You're there.
mention that the Affordable Housing Trust 5-year action plan does contemplate support for MBTA communities and the affordable housing component therein. And MBTA communities is coming up for a vote at the May 20th annual town meeting.
Very
So,
diplomatically said.
thank you.
Good job. Okay, well, I'll be there. And other items not.
Oh, just in that vein, I will just share that, and this is public knowledge, 44 communities have approved that. So if folks are interested in learning a little bit more about that, information is
Awesome.
available online about that.
And the planning department, planning board are holding some drop-in open houses.
Yes,
That's on the town website, the time and location of those. I will actually be at the Natural Resources Trust Farm Field Day on Saturday. Answering any questions people might have, and Stephanie will be there as well later on in the day. And we're having a drop-in on the 15th, I think, in the Corona Room in the evening, like 4 to 7. And we're, tons of information on the website, and we're always happy, especially Stephanie, to give her a call if you have any questions, or if you know people who have questions and want to know more. Please reach out.
you guys are great resources. No days off. You're working on Saturday? Excellent.
Is there a general sense whether it's favorable or having opposition? No idea.
A lot of folks have a lot of concerns. There is a fair amount of misinformation. And I think the more fact-based, factual information that we can provide people, I think the better the decisions will be. So I think that's really a priority, is just talking to people and giving them accurate information, and answering folks' questions, and encouraging folks to come to town meeting, and hopefully vote in favor if they feel so moved.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake here, so hopefully folks come up to voice their support, as you said.
Yes, yeah.
Alrighty. So other pertinent items not reasonably anticipated. I believe we've gone over the one item that I knew of, which was the other potential on Pequannocket. I have nothing else. Does anyone have anything else to bring up or add or ask? Besides next meeting?
I did have one question on that Pequannocket property that dropped in our laps today,
Yeah.
where it has historical as historical nature as well, wouldn't they be also potential to fund that along with us if we were to go for it?
The short answer is no.
Oh.
And the reason for that is this would be a complete rebuild because it's in such poor condition at this point. And as a Habitat house with an affordability restriction and being built by Habitat volunteers, similar to what we did with Morse Road, we would put design and materials requirements. So like I said, there was a approved rehab and addition plan. So the RFP should, it should look similar to that. Understanding that Habitat as a new build, the dimensions may be somewhat different, but since this would be a complete rebuild of a new building, there's not really a historic component, so this would just be more keeping with an historic character. So there wouldn't really be a way to like hang anything on as an historic building.
That's a good point, though. So in future projects that come up, you can collaborate potentially with the historical.
And often that is a really good tool for really big projects like Shovelworks, that had affordable housing funds and historic funds. We bought a preservation restriction, the town bought a preservation restriction. And a way of funding things like rehabs, and this happens quite often with old historic school buildings and historic factory buildings, is you get an historic preservation tax credit that you can syndicate, you can sell it to investors. And so that is a way of financing redevelopment. So it has to stay an income producing property for 5 years. So for example, you could, by doing a qualified and approved restoration of like an old school building into apartments, you could get tax credits that then you could sell to investors, and that would be a way of raising a portion of the money you need to do the rehab work.
Probably a stupid question, but none of the municipal surplus properties are historically significant, are they?
Monroe Hall?
Moreau Hall, no, but the
What are the
water
stations?
department building is a 100-year-old schoolhouse down on Bay Road. So that is an historically significant building and would certainly qualify for tax credits. So, in my head, I could see it being the community center for the affordable elderly housing buildings behind it, or the daycare center for the family housing development around it. It's I think when you do something pretty creative with it, but
Awesome.
that one is actually historically significant.
Awesome. Very good. Okay, next meeting. I apologize, but for the next month, just next month, I am not able to do Tuesdays or Thursdays. So if we could meet in June on a Wednesday, it would be preferable to me. Just for this coming month. It looks like the first Wednesday of the month would be June 5th.
I'm traveling that week.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Same. Where are you going, Jennifer?
Fine.
Czech Republic.
Nice.
Cool.
You?
Very nice.
London.
Oh, nice. International travel. Will you guys be home the 12th?
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Chris Ann's a no. I wonder if, okay, the 11th is definitely a no for me.
The 13th is a CPC meeting.
13th is a CPC meeting.
And also the 12th and 13th are MHC's Housing Institute.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
Yes. Do consider going if you can.
Norton?
Where the hell
Is
was that thing?
I think it was in Norton.
But they actually had some relevant stuff for us, and it might even been like, you know, like surplus municipal properties. It was like super relevant.
Wayne, can I ask you to blast that back out to us?
I can, yeah, yeah.
I would like.
Because
to-
usually it's like, yeah, I already know this stuff, and I was looking at their you know, their sessions. I was like, oh, yeah, actually, that's stuff we use.
So should we
Um,
make it like a Monday or a Friday? Probably, we haven't typically done that, but, or is there no problem going a little later into June?
I love Monday the 10th if people are around.
I'm around.
I'm away still.
Okay. And we might have
I
travelers.
believe that's a select board week.
Okay.
I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure.
Wednesday, the 19th is Juneteenth. So we're looking at like Wednesday, the 26th of June.
Hmm.
I'm traveling that way too.
I'm away the 26th.
Oh,
I
you
can
people are
do-
too much.
I can do those other dates except for June 10th. I can do the 5th or the 12th or the 11th or other things people were saying.
And we can, and we're far enough into June, I can do, Tuesdays and Thursdays too, so.
Might the 18th work for folks?
I'm fine with 18th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do the 18th.
I'm
I'll
double
be fine.
checking.
You know, thumbs up from Andrew.
The 18th.
Yeah, I'm flexible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could do the 18th.
Okay, let's go with 18th for now.
So Tuesday, the 18th at 6:30.
Yep.
Okay, I was gonna be in Detroit, but no, I'm not.
Oh, no.
It's not for this. No, it's
Okay.
no, Tom was gonna go to a conference and then something else came up, so
Okay.
we don't get to go to Detroit. Oh well.
Okay.
Detroit's making a comeback, Wayne, from what I've heard.
It's a fantastic city.
Yeah,
Yeah, went a couple years ago, and Michigan's neat. I really like Michigan, really like Detroit. It's great. And if people have not been, consider it for a vacation. The lake shores are gorgeous. The small towns are amazing. Detroit has so much going on. It is really a great vacation spot. Yeah, Tuesday the 18th. Love it.
Okay. Apologies if I just sent out an email to an invitation to everybody. I might have, my phone might have just selected all of you and invited you to the meeting, but anyways.
Haven't seen it.
Tuesday,
No.
June 18th, 6:30. Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
and with that, shall we adjourn at 7:30 PM?
I'll make a motion to
I will
adjourn.
second it. Dostumian,
I
yes?
second it.
Oh, Stephen, second. All right, Dostumian, yes?
Sheedy, yes.
Steven, yes.
Miller, yes.
Stacy, yes.
Hill, yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
I'll be in touch
Tremendous.
this week.
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks all, and see you all at town meeting.
See you on
Yep.
the 20th. Bye.
Take care.